Hi, good evening. Thank you for checking out Sex for the Soul. My name is James, and tonight I'm doing another video, and this one's a pretty serious one about the opioid plague and crisis that is rolling in our nation right now. To Before I even get into how I feel about it, I'm just gonna read some stats from the American Society of Addiction Medicine that should just terrify anyone. It's just horrific. So what opioids does is they're chemically related and interact with opioid receptors on nerve cells in the brain and the nervous system to provide pleasurable effects and pain relief. So they're great for chronic back pain, for surgery with your knee. That's what these kind of things are prescribed for. Where they get dangerous is of the 20.5 million Americans 12 or older that have a substance use disorder in 2015. 2 million had a substance had it involved in prescription pain relievers, and 591,000, nearly 600,000 people were had a disorder involving heroin. Drug overdose is the leading cause of accidental death in the U.S. At least it was in 2015. I think it still is, with 52,404 legal drug overdoses, or lethal drug overdoses, and in 2015. 20,000 of those were legal pain relievers, and 13,000 were overdose deaths from heroin. And in 2012, 259 million prescriptions were written for opioids, which is more than enough to give every American adult their own bottle of pills. 4 in 5 new heroin users started out misusing prescription painkillers. So most of these people are moving from legal painkillers to the heroin once they're cut off. 94% of respondents in 2014 survey, people in treatment for opioid addiction, said they chose to use heroin because prescription opioids were far more expensive and harder to obtain. So this is those are all devastating numbers. And it just shows the depth of the crisis and how important it is that we get a handle on this thing right now. So one of the questions asked is, why is this happening? Why are these things happening? One of the main reasons is the doctors that are prescribing these pills are actually receiving bonuses from big pharmaceutical companies that want them to push their own products. So it creates this lethal, unhealthy economy where big pharmaceutical companies develop the drug. They take it to doctors and sell it to doctors and give doctors extra money for prescribing it to regular people, and then regular people are using it and abusing it for pain, for emotional, physical, for these reasons that kind of take control, and almost now they're giving money to the pharmaceutical companies by continuing to pay them. So it's just this vicious cycle. So one of the basic things, it takes 8 days typically to get addicted to one of these drugs, and the typical prescription in America is 12 days. So when a typical prescription goes down in America, people are getting addicted off this first prescription, and then they're continuing the cycle, whether illegally or, as we saw right there, 4 or 5 users are going to heroin use because they can't get the legal forms of it. A part of this problem is that the pain relief medicine that medicinal marijuana could provide is still federally legal and still classified as a type 1 drug, which is highly addictive and highly lethal, where it ranks right next to heroin, but somehow opioids is not up there. The legal pharmaceutical pills are still allowed, but medicinal marijuana isn't. So one of the ways we could get rid of this is to legalize CBD, the medical compound of marijuana, and to spread the knowledge and the information that we have other options other than just this drug. That goes into education, because any of these drugs, marijuana or especially these opioids, can be addictive, can be bad for you, and only way to combat that truly is through education. We need more money to be spent on educating our kids in schools, educating our doctors, having our doctors educate us as patients, and then it's up to us as a society, as people ourselves, to do research to figure out what the medicine does, what the medicine you're getting prescribed, what the addiction rates are. These things, while they can be shared with you and they should be legally shared with you by your doctor, it should be also said why we should take it upon ourselves to do the research, at least partially, so that we are informed. And this education from society to personal and all the levels in between, that's a real change that we need to have. Doctors, it should be illegal to overprescribe. They should have to report within 24 hours how the length and the amount of any opioid or medicinal marijuana, any opioid that they give out. So they should educate again the people on how long what they're taking, what the addictive rates are. They should have to disclose if they're receiving a bonus from a company. They should legally have to disclose that. Just like when people write for a website or do a show on SportsCenter talks about something that goes on ABC, they will say, okay, and we are, for the information for the user, we are an ABC company. That's our parent company. That should be done with doctors' offices. They should talk about how they legally have these, or they should have these. They have these bonuses if they sell you a certain drug, just so the user knows. The GOP healthcare bill that is currently going through Congress right now is slashing tens of billions of dollars worth of opioid treatments and rehab centers. We should go the opposite. We should be spending more money on opioid treatment centers and just drug treatment centers in general. We should not be sending these people to jail. We should be sending them to rehab, and especially with youth, but just people in general, we should be saving their lives instead of criminalizing them and pushing them further and further underground. This goes hand in hand with who we should be sending to jail is the executives of these companies and doctors that overprescribe. If a pharmaceutical company is caught pushing addictive drugs and hiding or misrepresenting the facts, like the cigarette tobacco industry did, they should go to jail for it. There should be real consequences for these people. These people are ruining tens of thousands of lives, millions of lives. That was the stats. It's not an exaggeration. Millions. There is someone almost everyone knows that has gotten addicted to opioid pills or heroin, and it is a horrific thing. These people should be paying not just fines, but going to jail. Doctors that overprescribe, that do these things illegally, should also face jail time because those are real consequences. It should make it even more difficult to prescribe, and again, that goes kind of hand in hand with the system of reporting these drugs. There is there is uses for this in health medicine. But unfortunately, right now it's being abused, and we really need to get a handle and get a grip on what is being prescribed, how many people are being prescribed. The fact that in 2012, 259 million bottles of opioid or prescriptions were sent out. That over one bottle per adult in America is insanity. That's where this problem is. It's overprescription. It's people being pushed to sell this to people, or doctors pushing this through pharmaceutical companies, and lawmakers and politicians making laws and the FDA approving these drugs. All this is culminating with us, the American people, are getting addicted, and the American taxpayer is having to pay so much money for the rehab and the treatment and the crimes that are being committed. And this all needs to come to a close. We need to really start talking about this. The rehab centers, we should be paying for that right now because they're the first wave. They're the ones that are going on the beach in Normandy, taking on this incredibly huge burden. And instead of slashing their money, we need to not only put their money in, but really, and again, this is my main point, we need education. We need to educate ourselves. The government needs to educate us. The pharmaceutical companies need to educate the doctors, and the doctors need to educate us. Everyone should be learning as much as possible about the dangers of these drugs and having honest discussions with ourselves, with each other, from patient to doctor, from doctor to pharmaceutical company. All these things need to be getting discussed. Thank you so much for checking out my channel. I hope you guys take something from this, and I hope you guys all have a great night. Thank you.